This is a Spanish movie by Jaime Rosales, and apparently he's been around for a while. I believe this is his 6th movie, but I haven't seen any of the other ones. I also hadn't heard anything about this before watching it, so I went in with more or less no expectations whatsoever. And for the first half, the movie was good, but nothing extraordinary. It basically uses that first half just to set everything up for the second part, where things start to get really interesting. But first, what's the movie even about? Well, it's about this woman who gets some sort of artist residency. She gets to stay and work with this older, famous artist in the Spanish countryside. And that's the basic setup, but there's a little bit more to it than that. Because beneath the surface, she's on a bit of a personal mission. She's got an agenda and a very good reason for being where she is. And I don't really want to give anything more away than that. Because one of the things this did extremely well was catch me off guard. There are a number of twists and turns in this story, and I really didn't see many of them coming. But they all worked and they all made complete sense. And it's very rare to see a movie pull this many small but effective twists, with the keyword being effective, because it really kept me guessing the whole time. And if you really look at the twists and turns the story takes, it could have very easily come across as almost comical, like a soap opera. It could have been too ridiculous to take seriously, but it's handled so well that it doesn't feel ridiculous. Everything makes sense and every decision feels earned, and that impressed me quite a bit. The writing in this is excellent. And as I said, the whole first half is basically just laying the groundwork for everything that comes later. I mean, it's a very slow, deliberate and calculated movie. Very dialogue driven too. Most of the scenes just involve two people having a conversation, but usually interesting conversations, and it never got boring. But at the same time, it's also a surprisingly bleak movie if you really break it down. And on paper, it should have just come across as dark and depressing. But here's the thing, it doesn't. At least it doesn't leave you feeling down. It doesn't just beat you into the ground with all this terrible tragedy. And there's a lot of tragedy in this, enough for several movies. But because of the way the movie is structured, it sorta gets away with it. You see, it's split into chapters, but the story is not told in a linear fashion. The events don't come in chronological order, so it can sorta cheat a little bit. It can do some things to make it a little less depressing than it could have been. Now, it is still absolutely a tragic movie. I wouldn't exactly call it uplifting. But it's not just dark and depressing, it's sort of bittersweet too. With a surprisingly satisfying ending, and I liked it quite a bit. In fact, I liked the whole movie quite a bit. I thought it was very well made. Most of the impact coming from the writing and the editing. How it was structured and put together. But the acting was excellent too, and it's not a bad looking movie either. I thought it looked a little bit blandish maybe, but it wasn't really an issue. And overall, I can't say I have really any complaints about this one. I mean, as I was watching it, the first half wasn't as engaging as I would have liked it to be. But then the second part came around and it all started to make sense. And I think taking the time in the beginning was the right choice. So in hindsight, that wasn't an issue either. It all worked out well in the end. And that's about it. I thought this was a really good movie. One that managed to surprise me more than once, in a positive way. And one that I don't think many people have even heard of. So would I recommend it? Absolutely. You should definitely check it out. Or don't. I'm not your dad. But I am trying to sell out, so consider liking, subbing, hitting that bell and supporting me on Patreon. Because I really need to get myself a villa in the Spanish countryside. And hey, why not drop a comment below or check out another review? I'd appreciate it. Thanks.